G'day you good motherfuckers, the Buttsman here. Hope you're doing not bad. I'm well, thanks for asking. Before I start this video, a very important announcement. Well, two very important announcements. Because so many people jumped on board and bought the merch for the last merch drop, and I thank you very much for doing that and supporting the channel, I decided to order an extra 250 of every single item on that store. So, this bastard, another 250 of those dogs are on sale now. Another 250 of these amazing singlets that sold out in the first day. And another 250 of these bastards that sold out in the first day. Plus more of the moist shirts and more of the anti-vegan social club merch. Ladies and gentlemen, these are strictly, just outrageously limited. They're flying out the door. So go and check out the link below and you can get yours. Merry bloody Christmas. And secondly, I got an early Christmas present and it is absolutely incredible. It is these babies. Oh my God. These are made by a guy called Hollywood Riffraff. Now he has absolutely nailed these. He sent these to me. It's got the Buttsman written on the side. These are the highest quality cowboy boots that I've ever seen. So, head to his Instagram page right now, go and follow him. The stuff he makes is absolutely incredible. And thank you very much, Hollywood Riffraff, for making these and sending them to me. They are a beautiful Christmas present and they're something that I'll cherish forever. You know in The Simpsons where Homer goes when he's a kid to join that treehouse club, but they say no Homers allowed? Well, Mardi Gras next year in Sydney has banned police from the event. Well, like the No Homers Club, there's one police officer who is allowed to be there, and that's this dude from the Village People. Yes, arseless chaps. Delicious. But before we dive deep into that, we've got another news story. That's two news stories, so we may as well call this the news. Ladies and gentlemen, it's back. It's the Butterfield News Broadcast Service Systems. Hit the music! Tonight's second top story. This is the most fucked up story I've ever heard. Former Helena student, Helena being a town or whatever, told authorities he had sex with his teacher, Renee Eleanor Carter, about 25 times, including in her classroom at Capital High School before she was charged with felony statutory rape. The student told authorities their sexual relationship started in 2015 when he was 17 years old. Montana law allows those 16 and older to consent to sexual activity, but the student was legally incapable of giving consent because he's a fucking student. And we all know that teachers can't fuck students, all right? Very naughty. Now, a 17-year-old boy fucks his teacher. No one really cares about that, do they? I mean, South Park even made an entire episode about that, where basically they say, hey, I fucked the teacher, and they all go, nice. Because no one really gives a shit if it happens to a young boy. But if the tables were turned, and this happened to a young girl, people would be up in arms. In fact, this story right here would be all over the news, all over social media, and you'd have feminists everywhere freaking the fuck out, particularly because of what happens next. Female US high school teacher accused of raping a student 25 times avoids prison time. Is that not fucking insane? A US high school teacher charged with raping a teenage boy 25 times has dodged jail time with a plea agreement. Can you see the hypocrisy here? Two of the rape charges were dropped, while the other was amended to criminal endangerment. However, the plea states that this was not because of the alleged sexual relationship, but for the situation which created a substantial risk of death or serious bodily injury to the victim. Carter was slapped with a 3-year deferred sentence and will have to pay a big number of $80 US in costs. That is fucking insane, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, if this was a man, a teacher, a male teacher that did this to a 16-year-old, 17-year-old student, it would be the biggest story of the fucking month. But because it happens to a young boy, no one gives a fuck. I know a lot of people, like even myself, are sort of like, yeah, you know, he's 17, he probably had a good time, but it's still fucked up. You've got to remember that this is a kid, all right? He is not an adult yet, he is a kid, and potentially this person could have lured him into this situation because he doesn't have a fully functioning brain yet, and that's why there are laws protecting children. But now, to tonight's top story. Sydney Mardi Gras members to vote on the banning of police from the 2021 parade. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, the Mardi Gras, that is all about gay, lesbian, bi people going out there and parading and it's a pride march, okay? It used to be a protest, it's now all about, yay, we're doing great, fantastic, and I think that's wonderful. Now it's all very inclusive, there's transgender people, there's asexual people, there's all these other names of genders and stuff that I wrote down that I cannot remember off the top of my mind, but it's everybody. And I don't know how the gay and lesbian folk sort of feel about that being lumped into the one group, but anyway, I digress. Mardi Gras in Australia is a massive event, a huge tourist attraction. People come from all over the country to go and watch it. And I assume the people who take part in Mardi Gras have a big night that night and a really tough week post Mardi Gras not being able to sit down. But activist group Pride in Protest says police should be excluded from the parade in recognition of the violence perpetrated towards First Nation communities. Now, this situation they're talking about, it was a bit misleading from the headline. They're not talking about not allowing police at the actual event to police the people, although as you go further into the article, that's actually what they're pushing for. What they're talking about here is having floats in the parade where they have police in the floats in the parade. Now, this is a bit rude, number one, because there are gay police officers, so they should be allowed to be a part of that, should they not? But also suggesting that all police officers are to blame for violence towards people is fucking crazy. Members of the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras will vote on a conscientious proposal to remove police and corrective services from the parade at the organisation's annual general meeting on Saturday. In quotations, the Black Lives Matter movement has inspired a global responsibility of every human to recognise the damage and the enormous human life cost that comes at the hands of the police, says Pride in Protest organiser Bridget Harrelao. Hate me if you will, but police have an impossible job. And like any job, they are people and they make mistakes. I think, and I've had situations in my life where I'm like, fucking, this copper was a piece of shit, but also this copper was an amazing person. And you've got to remember that sometimes police officers, number one, they don't get paid enough for this bullshit, but also they may have come from a drowning baby to a house fire to a car crash where a whole family's killed, and then they pull you over and you've done 10Ks over the speed limit and you're pulling out going, I'm a sovereign citizen, bruh, I'm not a part of the fucking government, bruh. No wonder they want to fucking pull you out of the car and throw you on the bonnet. It's not an excuse, and some police officers are like retail managers, hungry with power. But as I just said, this is an impossible job, and these people are human, they are going to make mistakes. And I genuinely believe blaming every single police officer for what police are doing overseas and sometimes in our country is absolutely irresponsible. It is ridiculous and it's a cop-out. This is in recognition of the immense violence perpetrated by the police and corrective services towards First Nation communities who are over-policed and over-incarcerated, particularly LGBTQIA+ First Nations people who do not feel safe and are excluded as a result of police and corrective services participation in the parade, the motion states. Okay, two fucking things here. Can I just fucking work out what LGBTQ+I, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, intersex, asexual, and the plus meaning everything else? Okay, so now you bigots know. And to that point, to that argument, I've made a video about the deaths in custody that Aboriginal people and First Nations people have suffered in this country. Now, there is a number that's thrown around by a lot of people, particularly after the Black Lives Matter movement started and had some momentum here in this country. And unfortunately, and I hate doing this shit because I know people fucking hate me for it, but it's not true. The number's not real. This is the real number. The majority of Indigenous prison deaths from 1991 to 2016 were due 58% to natural causes, followed by hanging, and 12 deaths were from drugs or alcohol, and 4%, 9 of the deaths, were due to external trauma. Over half, 51% of Indigenous deaths in police custody from 1991 to 2016 resulted from external multiple trauma, the majority of which was sustained during motor vehicle pursuits, MVPs, 62% of them. The deaths resulting from these motor vehicle pursuits accounted for 1/3 of the deaths in police custody. This proportion was similar for non-Indigenous deaths in police custody as well. Hate me if you will. And no one in the media had the balls to report that story. But the statistics are there. Make of it what you will. It is crazy to go out there and make a statement that you do not feel safe because police officers are in a parade. That is absolutely fucking insane. And that wasn't the only crazy demand that this activist group put forward. The group also put forward a number of other motions, including a call to formally disinvite Scott Morrison, Paul ScoMo, fuck, he loves the Mardi Gras, and Gladys Berejiklian from the 2021 parade. They also want Mardi Gras to support defunding the police and abolishing prisons. Abolishing prisons. Are you fucking mental? I cannot imagine what goes through someone's mind when they're like, we need to abolish the prisons. Yeah, that's a fucking great move. You fucking dumb shit. The New South Wales Police Force corporate sponsor for, wait for it, Sexuality, Gender Diversity, Intersex, Assistant Commissioner Gender Talbot, fuck me, what a fucking job title, said the police force was committed to continually march in the parade as it's done since 1996, and marching demonstrated its support for LGBTQ+ employees and the broader queer community. I think this is so unfair to police officers who are trans, gay, lesbian, whatever. I think that's just fucking horrible. And this is part of the Black Lives Matter movement that is just, it doesn't sit quite well or right with me. Attacking that whole group of people because of singular cancers within it is so unfair. It is terrible, it is bad, and it is reprehensible. Let these police officers join the march. Let them be proud of their sexuality, and don't be a fucking idiot and abolish prisons, you fucking dumb fucks. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this whole story and the other story in today's video in the comment section below. But also, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East, me dick stinks. Keep it moist, and I'll see you very soon. Toodaloo, au revoir. Bye.